What you got going on here, Spite?
I'm just putting the seat back on the Scout because we needed to take some parts off to get it ready to go.
Hey, did you hear about the new cruiser we have?
We got a new cruiser?
Yeah, you think you're gonna like it.
Oh, sweet. Hold on, I gotta go get changed. We gotta talk about cruiser
Get
today.
changed? What do you mean you gotta get changed?
I gotta put my costume on. Hold on.
Costume? What?
All right, I'm ready. Wait. This?
This isn't that kind of cruiser. You should probably get changed.
I feel a little overdressed.
You're a little overdressed for this, yeah. This is a little more subdued.
Okay.
We're not doing Harleys anymore, remember?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm feeling a little bit more appropriate.
Yeah, that looks a little better for today's video. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, this is, everyone, Honda's Rebel 1100, as you can tell because it says right there, 1100. You got the King Energy Rebel, and you're gonna show the world. We're very excited about this motorcycle because I have purchased it as a giveaway bike. This is replacing our Indian Scout as our modern classic motorcycle. Hit the link down below to yammie.co, find out how you can enter to win this fantastic machine, or go to yammiemerch.com, get a piece of merch and get entered to win that way too. This thing looks really good in the flesh, I gotta say. Spite, what do you feel about this all blacked out look?
I think it's really, aggressive. We were talking with a guy who came to help us with another project, and he was saying that he was in a focus group with a Honda team, and they had this and some Sportsters next to it. And they're like, what do you like about the Sportster, and how do we make this feel like that? And you really, standing next to it, feel that Sportster energy out of it.
Yeah.
It has that same sort of shape. It definitely feels like a bigger version of the Rebel 500. Way more substantial,
yeah.
But it feels very premium just looking at it, especially these clusters up here. It's a really nice motorcycle. It's not a beginner bike for sure.
No, yeah, and I think although some people have said that you could maybe start on something like this, we here at Yammie probably feel like this is not a great beginner bike. Excellent second cruiser if you wanted to get at. The price point as well is a little spicy. This thing's probably gonna run you about $11,000 out the door because everyone and their mother wants one of these things. This was one of the last ones that I found at our local dealership, and they had it in the corner in a crate. And they actually didn't know they had it, and so I was like, please let me buy it. Cut them the check same day. Got it in hand, which was great. But yeah, if you don't know anything about this motorcycle, it features Honda's lovable parallel twin from the Africa Twin. So this is an adventure bike styled engine, but the cool thing about this parallel twin is unlike the Vulcan 650 and the 650s from Kawasaki, it has the 270-degree crank, which is a very important thing.
That is so key out of a cruiser because it gives you that sound and that rumble that you would actually really want out of a cruiser motorcycle.
Yep.
It is still an adventure bike engine. They've down-tuned it a little bit. It's not making that 100 horsepower that the African Twin does, but they gave it more torque, which is, again, what you want out of a cruiser. So you get that sound, you get that torque, and you have this really nice build quality about it. I mean, it's classic Honda.
Oh yeah, everything is so buttoned up here. And we like to say that Honda is the most expensive of the big four, and needlessly so, but the closer you look on this, you really can tell that this is a manufacturer that sells like hundreds of millions of dollars of motorcycles and has a lot of money to throw at stuff because everything is so buttoned up on this, man. Compared to the Scout, the build quality is like through the roof on this,
Yeah, and you get on it, you sit on it, and aside from these tank cuts, which are a little strange,
quite sporty for some reason.
Yeah, it feels like a Sportster. I mean, it sits like the Sportster does. And I mean, with that one going the way of the Dodo, which I called that, by the way. Nobody gave me credit for it. Thank
Give
you.
him some good boy pats.
I mean, this is definitely going to be that next go-to motorcycle, I think. It's lighter, it's more reliable, it's going to run cooler because of the liquid cooling. I mean, it's just a better engine.
Yeah, it's much more modern, much more amenable for the daily ride, great mid-range torque, and we're obviously gonna have full detailed first rides and impressions on this bike. We're just kind of checking it out today. There's literally 7 miles on the odometer, which is I got it from the dealership and wheeled it in here and we're doing the video today. But it's a really sweet looking ride and we're really excited to spend some time with it, modify it. I think the first thing we're gonna do is an exhaust. Have to do an exhaust on this thing. Very excited to do that. But in the first 7 miles I put on it, nothing near a first impression truly, but it's quite a sporty little thing. Quite a sporty little motorcycle, and I'm very, very interested to see what you're gonna think of it, given your predilection towards cruisers and stuff, because it is a bit of a, mixed bike. It's trying to be a laid back, cool, blacked out cruiser, but you can get after it with this thing for sure.
And that's kind of what I think a lot of the Rebel core customer base loves. The Rebel 500, despite being kind of a slow, a little bit lazy engine, it handles really, really well. The rider triangle's set up really well on that motorcycle for anyone to just, dip and dive through traffic and carve a corner really well. I mean, you can certainly drag pegs on these bikes, and I think it's going to be really cool to get out and see what a cruiser with a solid engine, good ground clearance, and good handling can really do.
Yeah.
Because while we were surprised by the Vulcan's handling, that engine is so lame. And I think that this is going to be the balm, the salve that the motorcycle industry needs to cure us of the Vulcan 650.
Yeah, so because Honda basically went out and built a better Vulcan 650, guys. That's what they did here, in my opinion, and we're very excited to test it out and have some fun with it. But Spike, what do you say we take a closer look at some of the components and just kind of do a little deep dive on this bike?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, guys, taking a closer look at the Rebel 1100 here, I think this is a bike that a lot of people are very interested in, which is the reason why we got one. Spike, what's the first thing you kind of notice about it?
So the first thing I noticed looking down is the dash. This
dash,
little dash here is...
I'll flip the key, actually.
Yeah, it's simple. It's an LCD dash, but you know what? It's exactly what you need on a bike like this.
Yeah, it's a great look.
If a TFT would look a little out of place, I would love for it to just be a single round dial because I'm a purist at heart. That's one of the things I love about the Scout. But you know what? It gets the job done. It shows you exactly what you need to see. It's nice, crystal clear, and it helps keep the price down on this thing too.
What I would have liked to see it on here, but I know it goes a little against the Honda Rebel's ethos, would have been just like one good sweeping wheel, an analog. Like the Z900 RS does that just so right. Even Whitney was shaking her head behind the camera there. But that would have been cool. But I think this was a very big success on their part. I love the way these feel, they feel so chunky and solid. That's so nice.
They have that like nice premium switch cluster feel.
Yeah, definitely. And then the second thing that I noticed, and I know you noticed it too, is everything is black on this motorcycle. Even the stuff that you don't even think about is black. Fork tube, black. Headlight cluster, black. Chain, black. Shock, black.
They really went to a lot of effort to black out this whole motorcycle.
Big tough boy motorcycle,
And again, if you're going after that Sportster, the 883, then the Nightster created that whole dark customs vibe. And they're really going for it here.
Yeah.
I think in some places they might have overdone it just a smidge.
It is quite black.
I feel like, some relief cut here and there.
Oh, some bronze would have looked so cool, like Honda normally does with their bronze.
What would have been great is if they took a page out of the Lowrider S's book and had bronze wheels on this thing.
That would have looked sick.
That would have looked really cool. So, a powder-coated bronze wheel on this would just look perfect.
That would be awesome. But speaking of the wheels and what's attached to them, we've got this single disc brake up front. Now, probably well enough stopping power. Again, I spent 7 miles on this thing and it felt like the brakes worked just fine, but I do think at this price point, double disc would have been cool. Yeah,
I feel like this bike probably needs a double disc just because, you're talking about a bike that's almost putting down 100 horsepower, 90 horsepower.
Yeah.
You really are going to want a double disc out of it because it is a bit heavier. It's about 470 pounds, a little bit over that. That's a lot of bike to slow down on a single disc. but it is a big disc.
Yeah.
You gotta give it that. It is I think it looks like a 300 almost.
I think for the pace that someone's gonna be pushing on a Rebel, totally adequate, you know? I mean, I love over-braked bikes because I race them, so I like the super snappy brakes, but totally adequate for this machine.
Speaking of pace too, something interesting on this motorcycle that I did not expect, cruise control. That's a
Great feature.
It's a great feature on a cruiser. I don't get why more motorcycles that are meant to just go do miles don't have cruise control as standard. I mean, that's a really nice feature to have on a bike where you're supposed to crush big miles.
The great thing about this cruise control too is that unlike other cruise controls on motorcycles, it's super easy to understand. It works just like on your car. You turn it on, press down to set, you are cruising. Aprilia's cruise control is so confusing because it's a switch that goes left and up and down. You're like, how do I set this thing? The thing starts blinking at you. Super easy to use on a Honda. Great feature.
And then the next thing that I notice, it's something that really made me think of the Yamaha Bolt, is this Showa remote reservoir shock.
Yeah.
I think that's a great touch on this motorcycle. It makes it look a little bit sporty, a little bit custom, because
it also makes the Sportster look really stupid.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because this is what a lot of Sportster boys and Dyna Bros like putting on their motorcycles. They like these remote reservoir shocks because they're such an upgrade over the standard, you know, just spring and piston shock that you get from Harley.
Yeah.
It looks really nice and custom. I wish it had more adjustability because it does seem currently like it is only preload, which is a bit of a bummer, but you know what? You're not pushing this motorcycle hard enough to really need compression and rebound and all that stuff.
No. I think the only thing would have been nice would have been like maybe just one clicker for rebound, just a simple damping setup just to make sure if you want it stiffer, softer, whatever you want. That would have been cool. I think at the price point would have made sense, but not a deal breaker for me. We were talking as well about this big rear fender and how it's just bolted onto here, and we think that you could make a cool kind of bobber look by just popping all this off.
You could get a nice chopped fender right here. In fact, I think Honda sold a chopped fender for the 500, just right from the factory. So you could get a nice small fender here, get yourself that bobber aesthetic, which, you know, I love a bike that's easy to customize from the factory.
Yes.
Being able, especially in the cruiser marketplace, being able to dig in and wrench on the bike is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's nobody's cruiser is exactly the same. So even the fact that this bike doesn't have, you know, a great aftermarket yet because it's so fresh off the line, being able to do little things here and there to make yours unique is good.
Yeah. One thing I noticed too is this rear brake lever. Look at that, it's like the little knurled thing right there. Little upmarket, you know, that's a nice touch. And the other thing about this bike is, as I'm sure you know, in cruiser markets, this one actually has mid-mounted control. So you swing a leg over it and you're sitting right here in the mids. You're not with forwards over here. Now, my personal preference on cruisers, I actually like forwards. I think they make sense for the motorcycle. However, this one does have mids. I know that you like mids more, right?
Yeah, I tend to prefer mids on a cruiser just because I feel like it gives me more control over the motorcycle. But, you know, I do appreciate the ability to, you know, have your feet in the breeze and all that stuff when you're just cruising on a long highway road. But I mean, I am seeing mounting points where you could possibly put forward mounted controls on there.
I bet you could, yeah, there's no doubt.
I feel like it would be not too difficult to get forwards on here if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sure as you guys noticed as well, this motorcycle features a very low seat height. I don't think anyone would have trouble flat-footing this thing. So you want to swing a leg over it?
Yeah, I mean, it feels every bit when I get on it like the Sportster.
Honestly, yeah.
It's very amenable, very comfortable in the shop. I do wish that this tank cut wasn't there.
It's weird. I don't know why it has like a sporty, muscular sport bike tank that's like curved up.
Yeah, if it was just totally round, that would be fine. But, you know, it is what it is. It's still plenty comfortable. I have enough grip on the tank with my knee here that I'm completely happy to sit on it. And the seat's good. It's firm and it's, you know, I don't think you need to run out and get yourself a fancy touring seat right away.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I think this motorcycle is gonna, you know, a lot of people are doubting it. They don't think it's gonna dramatically change the cruiser landscape, but given the comments we've seen about this and how much interest there is around this motorcycle, I think it's gonna change a lot, honestly. This is a very important motorcycle in my opinion. It's why I wanted to get my hands on one, because we get so many people on videos that aren't even about cruisers or anything else. They'll be like, when are you getting a Rebel 1100? And I'm like, shit, okay, we really need to get one. Anything else you notice?
No, I mean, I just can't wait to start throwing this up against the normal cruisers that are out there already. I mean, obviously, we've still got the Scout in the shop. We've got to do a Rebel 1100 versus a Scout.
We must. Yeah, we have to do one of those.
I mean, there's just so much that this bike, it's a bike of so much potential. Now we just need to see if they execute on that potential.
Yeah, so you guys stick around for all the awesome Rebel 1100 videos that are coming out. We're gonna have this bike for a good 4 months or so, and be sure to enter to win this thing for free. We are giving this motorcycle away. Go to yammie.co, get signed up over there, go to yammie.merch.com, get an entries that way as well. And we'll catch you on the next one. We'll go some more glorious B-roll of the Honda 1100 Rebel, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you later. So, I hate to break it to you, but this video is actually over. But if you hit this one right over here, you can keep watching your sweet Papa Yam doing some fun stuff. And if for nothing else, do it for Yammie-chan. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll just wait, it's okay. Take your time.